Health Alert is a team of nurses that follow up on daily wellness check responses, track students and employees who are isolating or in quarantine, and answer questions regarding COVID-19. The team is also responsible for staying up to date on the latest recommendations and requirements of the CDC and the Florida and county departments of health, as well as reporting cases of COVID-19 on campus to the health district. Health Alert can also answer questions you may have regarding COVID-19. Health Alert will not discuss other health issues that you may have. What do I do if I answer the daily wellness check wrong? If you indicated that you are not coming to campus and then later decide to come to campus, please fill out the daily wellness check again. If you answered any other questions incorrectly, then please contact the Health Alert team at healthalert@pba.edu or 561-803-2357. What will happen if I answer yes to any of the daily wellness check questions? The first thing that will happen is you'll receive an automated message from the form and an email telling you not to come to campus, or leave your residence hall room if you live on campus. Please forward this message to your professors and/or supervisor to explain your absence that day. A member of the Health Alert team will contact you by phone to verify your answers and determine if you should be isolated or quarantined. After speaking with you, one of three outcomes is possible. 1. Health Alert will clear you to come to campus or leave your room. 2. Health Alert will determine that you should be isolated and the initial duration of the isolation. 3. Health Alert will determine that you should be quarantined. If Health Alert determines that you need to be isolated or quarantined, Health Alert will send you an email communication delineating the initial duration of your absence. Health Alert will send this information to your professors if you are a student and to the Office of Residence Life if you live on campus. Health Alert will not notify your supervisor. You will need to forward the email from Health Alert to your supervisor instead. What is contact tracing? If you have COVID-19, Health Alert will perform a limited contact tracing. The Palm Beach County Health Department will also conduct a more thorough contact tracing. During the contact tracing, you'll be asked about anyone that you may have had close contact with in the last 48 hours. Health Alert will contact each of those persons and ask them about their contact with you to determine whether they should quarantine or are clear to come to campus, or leave their room if they live on campus. I was exposed to someone with COVID-19, but Health Alert cleared me to return to campus anyway. What gives? Or, what constitutes an exposure or close contact? Many people do not understand what constitutes an exposure to someone with COVID-19. Understanding what does and does not constitute an exposure will help to reduce fear and unnecessary anxiety. PBA uses the CDC definitions for close contact to decide who has been exposed to COVID-19. Moreover, if you ask 3 different people about their contact with each other, you'll get 6 different answers. So Health Alert decisions are made with the best information that we have at the time. For more information, please see the CDC website on what to do if you are sick and quarantine. What counts as close contact according to the CDC? 1. You are within 6 feet of someone who has tested positive or been diagnosed by a licensed healthcare provider for COVID-19 for a total of 15 minutes or more. 2. You provided care at home to someone who has tested positive or has been diagnosed with COVID-19. 3. You had direct physical contact with a person who has COVID-19, such as hugging or kissing, or shaking hands or fist bumping. 4. You shared eating or drinking utensils with a person who has COVID-19. 5. A person with COVID-19 has sneezed, coughed, or somehow got respiratory droplets on you. Here are some things that do not count as close contact. Walking past someone in the hallway while wearing a facial covering. A short car ride less than 15 minutes where all occupants are wearing facial coverings. Being in a classroom that is physically distanced. Being in a classroom that is not physically distanced with sneeze guards and facial coverings. Eating lunch without a facial covering when physically distanced. Having contact with someone else who has been in close contact with COVID-19, often called a third-party contact. Anyone who has come into close contact with a person with COVID-19 should quarantine for at least 14 days. If you have come into contact with someone who has been exposed to an individual with COVID-19, this is not considered an exposure per the CDC. As an example, your mother visits her sister, that is your aunt. Your mother then drops off some items for your residence hall apartment. When she drops off the items, you hug her. The next day, your aunt receives a positive COVID-19 test. Your mother has had close contact and should quarantine for 14 days. You have not had close contact and do not need to quarantine. What is the difference between isolation and quarantine? Quarantine is a separation of someone who may have had close contact with someone with COVID-19. The duration is 14 days. Isolation is the separation of someone who is sick from others. The period of isolation for COVID-19 is usually 10 days, but may vary depending on symptoms. It is important to note that due to the development of symptoms or receipt of a positive COVID-19 test result, that students may escalate from quarantine to isolation. At that time, persons who are not previously considered exposed to COVID-19 will, in arrears, have their status changed to exposed. This escalation is to be expected due to the incubation period of the virus, the wait time for test results, and the vague nature of COVID-19 symptoms. Isolation. Isolation is used to separate people infected with SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, from people who are not infected. People who are in isolation should stay home until it's safe for them to be around others. In the home, anyone sick or infected should separate themselves by staying in a specific sick room or area and using a separate bathroom if available. Who should isolate? People who have COVID-19. That is, people who have symptoms of COVID-19 and are able to recover at home, and people who have no symptoms, that is asymptomatic, but have tested positive for infection with SARS-CoV-2. Stay home except to get medical care. Monitor your symptoms. If you have an emergency warning sign, including trouble breathing, seek emergency medical care immediately. Stay in a separate room from other household members, if possible. Use a separate bathroom, if possible. Avoid contact with other members of the household and pets. Don't share personal household items like cups, towels, and utensils. Wear a mask when around other people if you're able to. Quarantine. Quarantine is used to keep someone who might have been exposed to COVID-19 away from others. Quarantine helps prevent the spread of disease that can occur before a person knows they are sick, or if they are infected with the virus without feeling symptoms. People in quarantine should stay home, separate themselves from others, monitor their health, and follow directions from their state or local health department. Who needs to quarantine? People who have been in close contact with someone who has COVID-19, excluding people who have had COVID-19 within the past 3 months. People who have tested positive for COVID-19 do not need to quarantine or get tested again for up to 3 months, as long as they do not develop symptoms again. People who develop symptoms again within 3 months of their first bout of COVID-19 may need to be tested again if there is no other identified cause for their symptoms.